This message is specifically for women, and it is vital and crucial at this time as we emerge in the collective consciousness as sovereign beings. There have been many narratives, many beliefs, many scripts that have dictated our perception of ourselves from a very early age. We can look to Disney movies and the media now that it is such a part of kids' lives. We can look to these expressions and see these subtle and not so subtle expressions in our lives that are messages of who women are, how they should be, how they should show up in the world, what it means to be a woman. If we look specifically at Disney movies, there's this um, there's this narrative of Prince Charming coming to save the day. There's this narrative of um, you know, that does not recognize the strong and empowered independent female. There is this dependency that is expressed throughout so many different narratives that is saying there is a dependency on men in order to live, in order to sustain, in order to be. The common elements of what this dependency looks like are protection, safety, security, and love. These are the four elements that are very pervasive for women to outsource to men and to outsource to communities, governments, societies, anything and everything outside of them. And so often, too, do you find that women are truly grasping at this from something outside of themselves because that is something that they have taught and they have always learned and known? I have a very personal experience with this and how it transformed my life. Earlier this year, I purchased a home, and up until that moment in my life, I thought and imagined that I would always be doing this with a partner. I never imagined me doing this by myself, right? So I went through the entire home buying process with my realtor, but mostly by myself. Very little involvement from my family and friends. Many people didn't even know and still don't know. So, yes, I bought a home. And there was a lot of emotions that came up as a result of me purchasing this home. I was very frustrated during the process. I felt very alone, and I felt like my whole life I had pictured having some support by my side, having someone to go through this process with me, but I didn't. And there was a lot of anger that came up as a result of that, working a full-time job and managing all of the paperwork, making all of the phone calls, making a decision like the month that once I, put in an offer and it was accepted, that month was decision after decision after decision. What insurance to get? What do I get a home warranty? Like all of these decisions kept coming up, and it was overwhelming for me to be the one responsible to make all of those decisions. And I recognized that there are so many places in my life where I have outsourced that sense of responsibility. I've outsourced that sense of protection and safety and stability and love to someone else, to something else, to some dream, to some vision that I had and pictured the way that I thought it would look. So when I really allowed myself to move through that process, it was not pretty. I will tell you, it was not pretty. I had a lot of emotions, a lot of nights I was crying just from overwhelm, a lot of nights that I was really frustrated and felt really alone. But I did it, and I came out the other side recognizing that everything that I had went through, everything that I had experienced was a result of the beliefs that I had had and held around what protection and stability and love and safety looked like. I had this dream my whole life of buying my dream place, buying my first home with someone, and I did it by myself. So there were a lot of feelings that were hard and difficult, and there were a lot of feelings of accomplishment and being so proud of myself and feeling so happy that I went through this process. And it took a while for me to move through the emotions and recognize the distorted beliefs that I had around these themes in my life. And it took me a while to actually start trusting myself that I could protect myself and I could provide for myself. And I showed up for myself day in and day out. And it's been a long journey to get my house furnished and get my home feeling like a home. But to be able to do that and stand on my own 2 feet and do that in a way that feels authentic and good for me was a learning process because I had spent my entire life outsourcing that to other people. I had spent my entire life expecting in relationships that men be the providers, and I had spent my entire life thinking that men are the ones that are supposed to provide the safety. And I had spent my entire life growing up thinking that this came from something outside of me, and it didn't. And so I had to learn through many growing pains that it comes from me. And as I've developed these attributes within myself, trusting myself, knowing that I can, and literally doing it, literally proving to myself that I can, it's opened up a world for me in which I can feel safe, in which I can feel protected, in which I can feel loved, because I'm now the source of it. Instead of waiting for Prince Charming to come, walking down the aisle and feel like, I'm going to be saved and I'm going to be protected the rest of my life because I have Prince Charming. It's like, no, now I get to experience that, but because I recognize that I'm the source of it. And so when we go through these experiences and we recognize, wow, like I actually get to be the source of this, I actually get to see my own unique expression of this. You learn so much about yourself. I didn't believe that safety came from me. I didn't have safety growing up. I didn't feel safe growing up. I didn't feel safe being who I am. I didn't feel safe in my physical or emotional environment. And I always expected other people to provide that for me. Now I get to learn what that expression uniquely looks like to me. What does safety feel like in my body? How can I express it and honor it and feel it in me? There's a very um, pervasive narrative that has gone around for far too long and encourages women to outsource these expressions, but we as women are sovereign. Men are sovereign, women are sovereign. And the outsourcing and the dependency on the other partner to bring something that we feel we don't have within us is not allowing us to honor our full authentic expression and truly become who we are. Because we within us have a very unique code, a very unique frequency in which we can express what all of these attributes look like. We get to experience what love looks like just within ourselves. There's a lot of dependency that men have on women and a lot of dependency that women have on men. And when you awaken to what these dependencies are within yourself, it's not limited to the ones that I mentioned. Those are just pervasive for me. Um, but it could be anything. And whatever that is, whatever you are looking for outside of yourself to be the source of, that is where you need to dive in and cultivate that within yourself because it lives within you. It has to. You would not be here on this planet. You would not exist if everything did not exist within you to be able to express all that you are. You would not exist. And as I bring this up, I want to mention this strong, independent woman narrative that comes through a lot as well. And a lot of times when there has been suppression and there has been this outsourcing of these expressions outside of you, there is a pendulum swing that goes to the extreme in the other direction that is can have expressions that are not of love. So there are narratives far on the other side that are, what's the use of men? Why do we need men in our lives? Like all of this stuff. And that is perhaps just as disruptive as outsourcing. So recognize that you may go through a period where you pendulum swing to the other side, but set the intention and set the vision and the goal for yourself that you return to a place of neutrality with this and that you find those expressions and from you, that you find that you are the source of those expressions and you will come back. Because trust me, during the past few months, I was very angry and I was very upset at just all men in general. I was very angry. Um, and I was just upset at my life that I had thought and lived up until this point, thinking that it was anyone's responsibility but mine to do this. Like all of the anger for not feeling protected and safe, all of the anger that came from that, because I did feel that for majority of my life. And I also did think that it was the man's responsibility or father figures or men in general's responsibility to provide and protect. And there was anger, and the anger is okay. Like, allow that to come and allow yourself to experience that, but go into this experience with the clear intention of discovering the truth for you, discovering the source within you. Because many women get stuck here. Many women get stuck thinking men are just horrible people. And that's not the case either. Men have their own work to do. Women have their own work to do. But there is a place of neutrality, and there actually is a place where men and women can come together and um, express their unique expressions of these qualities from a place of wholeness. And we get to choose to go first for ourselves because we deserve the best. We deserve the best life. We deserve everything that we've ever wanted. And so choose for yourself, decide for yourself that you're willing to look at all of the places that you've outsourced your own abilities. Look at all of these places and reclaim what is yours. You can move mountains, you can do anything. There is no limit to what you can do. But you first have to recognize that you have everything within you. We are here sovereign. We are here free. We are here with everything that we need within us. This does not mean that we have to do everything on our own and that we have to be everything for everyone all the time because we have everything within us. This is not what this means. What this means is that we have the ability to express and be what we need for ourselves. And we can honor that. And we can come together in community, in commune with other people, in celebration with other beings that have unique expressions as well. And we can support each other whole as one, like whole within ourselves. This is the awakening of the feminine. This is what has been tried to be suppressed for a very long time. And this is what we are waking up to, and this is what we are choosing. And there will be a lot of distorted energy around this as you move through this. Like I said, the full pendulum swing to the other side. There will be many iterations and many expressions throughout as women navigate this. I was thinking the other day that we just, within the past 100 years, earned the right to vote. To me, that's baffling. But 3 generations ago, 4 generations maybe, women were first voting. There's been a lot of change in the past 100 years, and a lot more to come in more rapid progression because we have the opportunities now that we did not have then. We have the awareness now that we did not have then, and we recognize that we can decide and choose differently. So, this is that message to decide. Become that person for yourself. You don't have to do it alone. You just have to know that it lives within you. Trust that and follow it. You've got this.